It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero War Central, and in today's video, we're going to do something that we haven't done in quite a while. We're going to discuss where I would put Alvanor on my tier list. Now, for those of you that are not aware, my tier list is based on utility, not overall power level. It is quite contentious, and it is similar to others on there, but others that are similar to it have too many categories, in my opinion, and I just want to kind of restrict it to these 5 or 6. Now, Alvanor is the new Winterfest hero that was presented to us on Hero Wars Mobile. He is the first elf, and then, of course, they added a couple of more elves, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in this video. But there really only is the one way to get him currently, and that is by doing the Winterfest, going to the Winterfest Plaza, exchanging the Winterfest ornaments or emeralds for his and Darkstar's coins, and then purchasing stars from the Alvanor vendor himself. Eventually, you'll be able to purchase him in bundles. You'll have access to him during the Hero of the Month. Probably in a month or two, he'll be the Hero of the Month, probably February. By the way, January Hero of the Month is Yasmin, kind of a cool side piece there. And then eventually there'll be a special event surrounding Alvanor if you can't quite get him up to 6 stars during the Winterfest or the Hero of the Month. As far as stats are concerned, he is a frontline fighter. His main stat is intelligence. He is a support/mage, and his special, his tribe, his role, his tag, whatever you want to call it, is elf. Here is a quick look at his max stats. Thank you so much for this image, Load Runner. He gave me the image and I cropped it in real close. We've got all of the stats here. Keep in mind that magic power is actually magic attack if you're looking at this. And just like in previous videos, this is where he lands as far as max stats compared to other heroes. He's first in intelligence. He's last place in armor. Pretty poor health. Pretty okay magic penetration, but there's not that many heroes that have magic penetration. If you're interested in comparing him with other heroes, go to HeroWarsCentral.com, hover over game mechanics, and then look at mobile max stats. And it's a sortable spreadsheet that you can take a look at. Skill number 1, his ultimate skill, Runes of Ice. Alvanor conjures 5 runes of ice in front of himself and launches them at enemies. Each rune travels towards the nearest enemy, damaging and slowing the target. Slows are fantastic. Any hero that relies on their ultimate to perform is not going to be as impacted by slow, because some slows will affect your basic attack speed. All slows will affect your green and blue ability activation. But if a hero like Galahad or Cleaver, their ultimate is going to be less impacted by this. It still might be, but it will be less. And of course, this being magic damage with the slow, it's an effective ultimate. There are other heroes that have ultimates, but this isn't really why you use Alvanor. You don't really use Alvanor for this ultimate. You kind of dig into his other skills. Green skill is Rune of Life. Alvanor conjures a Rune of Life that heals all allies once per second. While the rune is active, all allied elves, sorry about that, are healed twice as effectively regardless of the healing source. So it's worth mentioning really quick that the elf team as it is, the pure elf team, I should say, is Aurora, Alvanor, Darkstar, Kai, and Thea. Now, the cool thing about this green ability, kind of going back to it, is all allied elves are healed twice as effectively regardless of the healing source. Kai has got really, really, really high vampirism, right? You have this green ability that heals over time, everyone on your team. You also have Thea's heals. She's got a single target heal and an area of effect or a full team heal. So this ability right here is one of the few really, really, really promising abilities that Alvanor brings to a fight. Very excited about this ability. Blue ability is Rune of Fire. Alvanor invokes the power of Rune of Fire, unleashing it on the 2 nearest enemies. Each target takes some magic damage. Now, he does have his own magic penetration, so you don't need to rely on, say, an Orion or a Faceless in order to improve Alvanor. But I hear that pairing Faceless with Alvanor is something worth considering if you're not planning on building that undead team or the Kark team or whoever else, whatever other team needs Faceless. But this is just a straight up damaging attack to the first 2 enemies. Often it's going to be the tank, who's going to have a lot of health, and also the warrior or whoever that's in second position. Could be Alvanor in the second position, actually. An enemy Alvanor, I should say. Not a very exciting ability at all. But he is a mage, so he does do some damage. Rune of Earth, his final ability. Alvanor activates a Rune of Earth to protect his allies. While the rune is active, allies take decreased damage from basic attacks. The Rune of Earth is always active for elves. This is incredibly handy. This is yet another way to counter Keira, which I'm not sure that Keira really needed another way to counter another hero to counter her, but here it is. So effectively what's happening is Kira's additional damage is cut to 25% whenever she does the ricochet attack or whatever whatever the name of the skill is, and this will often block most or all of that damage. So this really cuts down on Kira's damage output, especially to the not frontline hero. Obviously, it doesn't block against the ultimate abilities or any spells or attacks, just basic damage. As far as skins, Alvanor has one. So skin leveling priority is just his default intelligence skin. Looks kind of cool, I guess, if you like this kind of artwork. Artifacts. Alvanor's artifact weapon is magic attack. His book is magic penetration and magic attack, and his ring is intelligence. As far as leveling order, I almost consider Alvanor to be a support hero. He does do some nice damage on his own, and if you're focusing on that aspect and not pairing him with other damage dealers, then I would definitely work on his book first. Obviously, having high intelligence is going to help with all of his skills. That magic attack weapon artifact, you want to get to at least 3 stars pretty quick so you can stack that magic attack for your Aurora, your Kai, your Thea. Less so for your Dark Star, but this is it. Those are his artifacts. Glyphs, leveling order for Glyphs. I would probably do health, then intelligence, then his probably his magic attack, and then his defenses. I don't know. It really depends on how you're going to be using Alvanor. It really depends. I think that I would focus a lot on his health first, but if you're using him more as a damage dealer, I guess work on his penetration and his magic attack first. Intelligence is going to be in there, but I would certainly do health before his defensive stats. Okay, health before defensive stats. So where is he on my tier list? And for those of you that are not aware, I put out a tier list video a couple of months ago. Probably needs updating considering that some heroes have had updates. Kai has been updated since this tier list came out. Obviously, Dark Star has been updated as well. But you have your favorite hero. So if Alvanor is your favorite hero, you should absolutely level him up. If you love him, you should absolutely level him up. Alvanor is definitely not bugged, so I wouldn't put him there. As far as universal heroes go, I think that Alvanor belongs in a specific niche. I think that his inclusion to block basic attack damage is too niche. I think that if you're trying to plug in a hero to counter certain other heroes, I think blocking physical attack damage is low on the priority. That's just kind of how I feel. And because of that, I don't feel that he's a counter or utility hero, Alvanor. I just don't. I think that you need to build a team around Alvanor. I think that you should build the elf team. If you want the elf team, you build it with Alvanor. If you don't want to level up an elf team, then don't worry about Alvanor at all. I personally am not leveling up Alvanor whatsoever. I unlocked him for the sake of taking screenshots and playing around with him a little bit, but I'm not really a huge fan. He could be okay in PvE or Outlander Tower. I mean, most heroes are pretty solid, once you get some investment into them. But he is definitely what you would call a stop sign tier hero. Just to kind of go back to my old tier list discussion video, stop sign tier, you would build a team around this hero, but he doesn't necessarily bring utility to every team. So let me know in the comment section down below what heroes you're plugging in with Alvanor. I know that the full elf team is not the way to go. Okay, Aurora, Alvanor, Darkstar, Kythea is not the team. I've heard some stuff with Faceless. I've heard some stuff with Nebula. Darkstar doesn't really benefit much from any of Alvanor's abilities. You got Kai and Thea who definitely do. Maybe you talk about pairing Kai with a Lars, or maybe Kai with a Helios. I mentioned Faceless earlier. Aurora is a fantastic tank. She works well pretty much anywhere. Chances are you're already using Aurora in another team, though. Chances are you're already using Kai, as a backup for your Kark team. You probably haven't leveled up Darkstar at all, and if you haven't, maybe you should. But I don't think that you should invest a ton into Alvanor unless you're building specifically an elf tribe-based team. So that's it. Check out my first look video discussing Alvanor. I've got a ton of videos out about Aurora already, so please check that video out as well. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.